So you're thinking about moving to Merritt Island, Florida. Well, today we are going to go over the top 10 pros and cons updated for 2025 for living in Merritt Island. I live here in Merritt Island, and so you're getting it personally from someone who lives here. So let's get into it. Okay, so pro number one, it's its location. So Merritt Island has a great location in regards to where it is in Florida and where it is in regards to the county. It's close to the beach. Where I live only 10 minutes away from Cocoa Beach, which I love. It's one of the biggest reasons why we decided to live here. But as far as other things, it's convenient to get to Cocoa Village, which is this really awesome downtown area with tons of events, tons of restaurants, bars, parks, beautiful scenery along the river. There's also downtown Cocoa Beach, or just Cocoa Beach in general, with tons of stuff to do. It's about anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes to get to Melbourne. It's an hour away from Orlando, from Disney World, Universal, 45 minutes to the airport. It's just a straight shot down 528. So it's super easy to get to the airport. So it's a great hub too for depending on where you're going to work. My husband, for example, works at Patrick Space Force Base. It's about a 30-minute drive, but it doesn't really feel like it. It's a really pretty scenic drive, so he doesn't mind it at all. And then of course, I'm going to get into this in a couple more, but we have the space industry. So it's also very close to those employers as well. So if you are moving for there, you're going to anywhere in Merritt Island, you can't really go wrong unless you go to the tip of Dragon Point. Then you are looking at maybe like a 25-minute drive, 30-minute drive, but it's not bad. Okay, so now let's get into con number one. So con number one is that it's not beachside. So a lot of people, when they look at the map, you're gonna see it in between two rivers and you're gonna think, oh, is that the ocean? When I originally looked at it, I thought that that was also part of the ocean or the beach. A lot of people also think that as well. We actually have an Airbnb right next to us, which actually isn't allowed. Short-term rentals are not allowed in Merritt Island, but whatever, we don't say anything. They're not there a lot, so it's kind of quiet, so we like it. But we had someone visiting one time and they're like, hey, can we walk to the beach from here? And you can't walk to the beach, you can walk to the river and see water, but I wouldn't go swimming in there. Some people do, but there's alligators and so forth. We are not oceanside. We are between the two rivers. If you're wanting to go for a swim in the ocean or go surfing, you're gonna have to drive over at least 520 or 528, which are two bridges, to get to either Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral. Okay, so let's get into pro number two. This is something that I asked my husband. I was like, hey, give me some pros for living in Merritt Island. I really want to do some new perspectives. So he said, it's not a major city. We definitely have things that are here that we need, like Walmarts, grocery stores, gas stations, entertainment, and so forth. So it's not necessarily like it's lacking anything you might need. If you're coming from a big city, it might lack a lot. But we like that it's not a major city. We like living in that small town feel. It's actually not a town or a city. It's unincorporated Brevard, which is great because our taxes are lower, but we actually just don't have that identity. We're just kind of like an area in Brevard County, but it's nice because it just doesn't feel like a major city. It's actually a pretty long area in Brevard County, so it's pretty big, but it doesn't feel big because it's all nicely tied together in central Merritt Island. So it just feels like a nice small town where people know each other, and we really like that aspect of it. It's not too crazy or too big, doesn't feel too big. All right, so I'm about to get into con number two, but real quick, if you're new here, my name is Rachel Langley and I'm a real estate agent here in Merritt Island and the Space Coast. I help families like you every day move to the area. We absolutely love it. So I love helping people just like you move to the area. So if you have any questions, if you're considering moving here, if you've got a relocation offer, or you are definitely moving here, make sure to reach out. My information is on the screen right here. It's in the pinned comments and in the description below. You can call or text me, email me, day or night. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also real quick too, if you like this video, I know we've only just started, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. That shows me that these videos are very helpful. So con number two, this is a new one. So a lot of times in these videos, I'll do hurricanes. We know it's Florida. We get hurricanes. They're not as bad in this area, but it's Florida. They could happen. It's super hot in the summer. We know all that. So I'm trying to avoid all those stereotypical Florida cons. And I'm trying to get into just the area, which I guess this could really be anywhere. But living in Merritt Island, we do live very close to the beach. It's just a bridge away. To be honest, we could just be considered Cocoa Beach. Like they could have just extended it, but we are our own area. But so we're super close to the beach, which means we get the saltwater air, and that can corrode a lot of things. So a lot of times we'll see AC units or even cars or water heaters. They get a lot more rust a lot quicker. Some of our light fixtures can get rust. So just something to know. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. A lot of times, for example, one of my husband's coworkers, he will just lease his car, return it every few years, so he doesn't have to worry about any of the rust or corrosion on the cars. It's not really that bad. I haven't been affected by it yet, but just something to know that you do live close to the beach, so you are going to experience corrosion a lot quicker than other areas. Pro number 3, the space industry, or it's a great area for space enthusiasts or people who work in the space industry. I mean, it's really awesome. Right now, have Blue Origin working on getting a launch going. It's their first launch that will be successful, so we're still waiting on Blue Origin, but that's going to be really exciting. For the most part, SpaceX is launching those like at least 4 times a month, which is crazy. Lots of work in the area. It's bringing a lot of well-paying jobs to the area, which is great. If you're watching this, a lot of my clients will work for these big companies, so you might be about to work for one of these big companies. So SpaceX, Blue Origin, Kennedy Space Center, NASA, those are all, and there's some small engineering companies or aerospace companies as well. So that's all located in North Merritt Island. Some of it's located in Cape Canaveral as well, but it's super close. Just living here and hearing the rocket launches, seeing them, it's really awesome. The ones that really make history, like there was one a few months ago that was 3D printed, which was really cool to watch. So it's really fun living here. And of course we have Kennedy Space Center. So lots of events for kids or just for people in general throughout the year. We love going during the holidays. They have these beautiful lights. And so it's just super fun living here because of that. Con number 3, on the flip side of that, since we do have rockets going into the air, there's noise. For the most part, when they launch, it's not really that loud. It sounds like your air conditioner is kicking on. Sometimes in the summertime, we don't know if it's the air conditioner or if it's a launch. Fun fact, if you can hear it, it's already gone. It's actually silent as it's going up in our view. And then when it gets far out, it starts to make a noise that sounds like an air conditioner turning on. So it's not bad at all in that sense. Some are louder than others, that air conditioner noise. And then when they land the boosters back, they'll either land them in the ocean, which we don't hear, or they'll land them over in, I don't know if it's Titusville or Cape Canaveral, but that over there. And that can be loud. Even if I know it's coming, it always makes me jump. So sometimes they'll do those in the middle of the night, which can scare people. It can definitely scare your dogs. It makes a loud boom noise. That one's pretty loud. So it doesn't happen that often that it's such a nuisance, but it's definitely something to know, especially if you're noise sensitive. All right, pro number 4 is the friendly community. I come from the Northeast, and don't get me wrong, I do love my family, of course, and my neighbors over there, but the people here are so much more friendlier, open to conversation, meeting new people. Neighbors wave to each other, the kids are outside more. I mean, that's just Florida because of Florida weather too, but it's just a lot more friendlier community. I absolutely love it. And just know a lot of times people will go join the local Facebook groups. I did it when I was moving here. There's definitely going to be some keyboard warriors on there saying, don't move here, we don't want you, and so forth. Don't listen to them. They probably moved here like 10 years ago and were a transplant themselves a lot of times. But for the most part, people are just super kind and fun. We just absolutely love living here. That's one reason why we really love living in Florida in general. This area in particular, people are just very kind. Okay, con number 4. So Merritt Island, we have the Merritt Island Square Mall. I mean, it's nice because we have that close by, so you can go shopping at Macy's, Dillard's, JCPenney's. There's a really good restaurant. It's actually my favorite Mexican restaurant locally called Margarita's there. So it has stuff, but it's a 1960s mall, so it's super beaten up. If you drive by, it looks very desolate. There are plans that have been drawn up that look amazing. If you're familiar with watching my videos about Vieira, an open air mall is kind of the concept that they have created, but that is just something created. It's not anything that the county has given a go. It's not anything that people have put money into. It was just created by an architect, and it looks beautiful. And if it ever happens, it will be absolutely amazing for Merritt Island. It's right across the street from the new hospital going in too. So all of that sounds really great for development purposes, but it's not currently happening. But if that ever did, it looks amazing, and that'd be great. But otherwise, we have a mall, so Christmas time, you can go shopping very easily. It's just not a nice mall. It needs love. And when I mean it needs love, it just looks like it was built in the 1960s and it hasn't been renovated. All right, pro number 5. So holidays just passed. Happy New Year. So Merritt Islanders go all out for Christmas. I love it. Our neighborhood had so many Christmas lights. We had Christmas lights up. So some fun things that go on during the holiday times. There's a Christmas for our holiday parade. There's a boat parade. There's one in Cocoa Village. There's one in Cocoa Beach. There's one in all over the county, but there's a few to go to super close by. My brokerage actually is a sponsor of the boat parade, so we also hold a captain party at Dolphins every year. It's super fun. And then there's also tons of events in Cocoa Village. We had the 5K turkey trot in Cocoa Beach this year. My husband did a mile run the day before Christmas, and it's funny, he was just looking on the internet, like he just saw something posted on Facebook, and it was an article about the top 10 most unique races of the year. And this race in particular, out of everywhere nationwide, came up because it is a Santa run. And what's unique about it is that you have to dress up as Santa. They give you the clothes for it, but if you don't dress up as Santa, you can't participate. So that's something unique and it's really funny. So just lots of things to do in the area in general. It's really nice. Okay, con number 5 is there's very limited nightlife. So if you like to go out for a good time, like go clubbing maybe, we don't really have clubs at all. We have dive bars here in Merritt Island, which, can be a good time, karaoke, or to go watch the game, whatever. So we do have bars, but they're not necessarily like party bars or dancing. But if you want that, you can go over to Cocoa Beach. There's a few bars over there that have more like a DJ and dancing and all of that. But yeah, with that said, Cocoa Village also has some great nightlife. A lot of times they'll have local bands go to different bars like George and Dragon. There's a great place to go out to. A lot of times they'll have a band, and then the same thing goes for Cocoa Beach, DJs, bands, and so forth. And it's only, depending on where you live, will be 10 to 25 minutes away, just in case you're like a super North Merritt Island or super South Merritt Island. But most part, if you're living centrally, it's going to be only 15 minutes, a great Uber drive. If you're drinking, that's what we have over here for nightlife. Okay, pro number 6 is we have diverse housing options. So for the most part, Merritt Island is going to be single family homes. For the most part, it is lower price than Cocoa Beach, but you can still find things on the water. So if you have a boat, for example, you want to live on the water, there's a lot of canal front homes, a lot of direct water or riverfront homes available. So we have those. We have what are called dry lots, which are not water at all, and plenty of pool homes. And then there's a few complexes with our townhomes, and then there's a few condo complexes. So there is diversity in that as well, but for the most part, it's going to be single family homes. And when it comes to the single family homes, a lot of them can start in the 1960s, but there's also quite a lot that are past that, 1980s, built up to today. A lot of North Merritt Island has a lot of subdivisions going in that are brand new construction. Is something that a lot of people working in the space industry are interested in because it's right down the street from where they work. So a lot of new construction going on over there, lots of land. That's kind of only where the land is left in Merritt Island. So I have heard Pulte is going to be building a neighborhood over there. Miranda Homes is extending a neighborhood they already have there. I know that Kay Javian has bought a plot of land further down. So a lot of North Merritt Island is still being developed and will be brand new. Okay, con number 6, I kind of just mentioned, is we do have a lot of 1960s homes and 1950s as well. That's when the space age started, when they started, doing lifting off rockets for Kennedy Space Center and NASA. So lots of development in the area for that. So just something to know, the homes are beautiful. It's just the 1960s homes. If they haven't been updated, at least there's some certain things that you want to look for. Electrical, plumbing, roof straps or clips. A lot of them are lacking those. So older windows. So you just want to be careful. A 1960s home that you can buy in Connecticut doesn't get as much wear and tear. They're not as bad as when you have a 1960s home with cast iron piping. Down in Florida, the cast iron piping is pretty much at the end of its life. So a lot of them are failing and causing backups in toilets, and they ruin the house. So you just want to be really careful and do your due diligence with that, or call me if you watching this and you've worked with me before. You know how I disclose everything in the house because I want you to make the best decision for your investment, for your home. Pro number 7 is there's lots of parks, lots of sports fields. We live close by to Kelly East and Kelly West. For example, those are two different parks. Kelly East has boat ramps, and a lot of people will let their boat out there. And then on the other side is Kelly West, which has tennis fields, playgrounds, soccer fields. It has kind of the walking trail around it, which is really nice. So we love living close by. We'll go for a run over there. My husband will go for a run over there. There's also Kiwanis Island, which actually has a gym there. There's like karate lessons there. There's tennis courts there. So lots of activities over there as well. I know they'll host a movie night in the summer there for an outdoor movie night, which is really nice. There's Mitchell Ellington Park, more in North Merritt Island. That one's really big. It's got all the sports courts or sports fields you can think of, nice walking trails, lots of options, and beautiful parks in Merritt Island, which is really nice. And then, of course, there's just outdoor activities galore here because it's super warm. I think it's freezing outside right now and it's like 65 degrees, but you get acclimated when you live here for a few years. For the most part, year-round, you can go out, ride your bike, go for runs, walks, and not be in the frigid cold. I grew up with that, and I know isn't the best. Con number 7 is there's no dog park in Merritt Island. I know one of my old neighbors really disliked that we didn't have any sort of dog park. So there is one in Cocoa Beach, there's one in Rockledge as well. So there's a few in Viera. So there's some locally, but nothing that is in Merritt Island that has a fenced dog park. Okay, pro number 8 is we live in between two rivers. So we have the Banana River and the Indian River, which, if you have a boat is absolutely, so we actually call Merritt Island the butters capital of Brevard County because there's so many opportunities for waterfront or canal front homes. If you love to be out on the water, like to go fishing. I love when I see the little kids on their bikes to go with their fishing pole and they go, ride their bike and go fishing for the day. It's nice. So there's that, if you love water sports, jet skiing, all of that fun stuff. So just tons of opportunities for water sports locally. And it's just absolutely so beautiful at the same time because you're always surrounded by water. Wherever you drive, you're going to have some sort of water view, which is really pretty. I love living here for that reason, especially when the sun's coming down, you have the orange sky. It's gorgeous. All right, con number 8. So we have the rivers, which is awesome, but I would say the water quality isn't the best, but we do live next to Patrick Space Force Base. We do have the Kennedy Space Force Base as well. Lots of activity that in the 1960s maybe wasn't so monitored. There's a lot of PFAS over in Patrick that a lot of areas inside of Lake Beach are dealing with now, contamination. So you just really want to have at least a filtration system on your water, your drinking water. We have a really great system that we installed underneath our sink. A lot of my clients will install a full home filtration system, but just something to keep in mind. Highly recommend. I wouldn't drink the water without any filtration. Another reason for this as well is because we have the lock. So Cape Canaveral, and this is good to know if you're a boater, we have a lock system. The reason so is because the cruise port is right there, and if they didn't, they would have to keep dredging the deep canal over there so that the cruise ships come in would just keep filling with sand. So we don't have a lot of ocean water coming in and out because we have a lock. All right, pro number 9, if you've made it so far, thank you so much for watching. I'm almost there. We've got just this one and one more. So pro number 9 is going to be, there's not that much traffic. I mean, this is super subjective depending on where you're coming from or if you've lived here for a long time. Of course, there's a lot more people here, so there's more cars on the road, but for the most part, you don't really get stuck in traffic like you do in, for example, Miami or Los Angeles, where a normal 10-minute drive turns into an hour drive. In certain places like Courtney, which is spelled like Courtenay, but we call it Courtney, it can get congested and there's lots of lights on that road. It's the main road with Targets and restaurants and so forth. Yeah, there's lots of cars on the road and there's lots of stoplights, but for the most part, you're not gonna get stuck there unless there's a car accident. Okay, con number 9, and this could be a pro too, but wildlife encounters. So it's Florida, so we have alligators and we have snakes. As far as the alligators go, I've actually never seen any in the wild out here in Merritt Island. I've seen them when I go visit Kennedy Space Center. There is the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge there, and when you take the bus out there, you see a lot of beautiful wildlife, and we saw some baby alligators over there, which is normal. I've never seen any in retention ponds or out on the canals. I'm sure if I lived on the canal, I'd probably see a couple, but they're there. So just, for the most part, they don't bother you, but if you have a small dog, you absolutely want to purchase a home with a fence or maybe just avoid the water. Also, I've actually seen them more so in Vieira, Florida, which is funny because it's inland more, but I've seen them a few times in the retention ponds over there. But yeah, we have alligators. We haven't had any incidents in this area. So just as long as you are safe and you don't stand by the water's edge with your back turned, but just be aware. Our first house here, we didn't have any problems with snakes. Our second house here, we have a pool. We have like a little deck. So I'm not sure if maybe that they like to be under the deck, but I have seen 2 so far, and I do not like snakes. So either does my dog. So they bark at them, but they haven't attacked our dogs. They kind of keep their distance. And for the most part, we don't have poisonous snakes in the area like they do in South Florida. So they're actually good for if there's like mice or rats or anything like that, but they haven't bothered us. But yes, you can run into it. So just be aware, keep your grass cut as low as possible. But it's a con, for me at least. Some people who love animals think it's totally awesome. And of course, for me, I appreciate nature and I understand why they're there and I'm not going to hurt them, but I just rather not run into them. All right, number 10. So I've actually combined the pros and cons for this one. So it's affordability. I mean, of course, everywhere in the United States or in the world for that matter is battling inflation. Housing prices are up, grocery prices are up, gas prices are up. So everything's super expensive now. This can be a pro and con depending on where you're coming from. It's super subjective. When we came from the Northeast, we found this area to be a lot more affordable. There were certain things like car insurance almost doubled for us. I'm not sure why. It went down recently because I got a newer car, but I've actually had 2 clients say that their policy decreased, but they were coming from different states. So maybe those states were already high. So it's super subjective. For the most part, if you're looking to live somewhere close to the beach, you have employment close by, Merritt Island can seem pretty affordable compared to Cocoa Beach. It's more affordable. Now, it's less affordable than Rockledge or Cocoa or even Melbourne. So, because you're getting more inland. So it's subjective. So that's why it could be a pro or con. Now, some things that I found more affordable compared to the Northeast were grocery prices, getting an alcoholic beverage. Now in Rhode Island, they're almost $20. Here, they're usually about $9. So definitely half there. I think I said grocery prices already. Restaurant food is a lot cheaper too, for the most part. I think homes, compared to where I used to live, are definitely less. A lot of people, like for example, North Carolina, say the homes are more expensive here. Property insurance actually decreased for us here. We have a 1970s home, we have a 1900s home in Rhode Island, and a 1940s home. So it's more expensive because they're older. I get lots of questions on insurance. Yes, you can get insurance. You just want to be careful on what home you get. It depends so much on what property you purchase.
And that's why it's super important to work with an agent like me, because I literally go into the home and I'm like, you're gonna have a more expensive insurance because it doesn't have XYZ. You can purchase it for this amount and get the windows covered for protection, so forth, or we can just go look at something that has it. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a wealth of knowledge. We absolutely love living here. It's a great place to live. It's beautiful, a really kind community. We love our home here, and recently just bought a pool home, which highly recommend. Some people are very against pool homes, which is totally fine, but the summers are very hot here, so the pool comes in handy a lot of times for those days. So we absolutely love it. Like I said, if you're thinking about moving here or already know you're moving here, make sure you reach out. I hope families like you every day make the move. So my information is on the screen right here. It's in the comments below and in the description. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Rachel Langley, and I'll see you on the next one.